Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Black Waves. I am your DM, GM, storyteller, whichever you would like to call me, Forgotten Dreams. And apparently, I am down in the bottom window. That's okay. That's fine. That's interesting for me. Either way, I am joined by a lovely cast of people. Starting for above me, for the first time ever, we have Cyber Mama.
Hi, I'm Cyber Mama, 47, and I play Sasha Oak River, who is a swashbuckling rogue and a failing.
Right. Next up, we have next to Cyber Mama, we have Cinna.
Hello, I'm Ellen. I play Senna Thunderhall. She is a half elf and a cleric slash bard.
And last but not least, we have Wade.
I am Wade. I play Desh, the Kobold Ranger, with my best buddy Nash.
Fantastic. And would anyone like to attempt a brief recap of what happened last session?
Whole
Bob.
lot of nothing.
We ran away.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Basically.
about it.
Yeah. So you guys ran away from the fog for a while, then eventually it lifted. After a while of it just being dark and snowy, with all of the lights in the sky being blotted out, Siphidius came to realize that the ley lines were returning to the land, and you guys were tasked with going to speak to the druids. Does anybody remember why?
We went to go speak to the druids in order to ask them to help the city with not only the mess, but also to inform them about the ley lines and bring them a letter from Siphidius.
All right. And after a bit of stonewalling done at the entrance to the grove by two what seemed to be younger druids, eventually you were let in, and that is where we left off. So, coming back into it, the three of you are slowly brought in past a couple of bushes into what... Actually, you know what? I would like each of you to roll me an Arcana check. See if you recognize what actually happens.
Having the character sheet open would be helpful for
Very
Dash
helpful.
isn't smart.
gameplay purposes.
Dash isn't smart, rolls a 20.
You were saying?
Or a 1. That works too. So, Sasha, you would realize what happens. You actually end up stepping through the bushes into a pocket dimension that's just openly there. As you are immediately greeted, and quite suddenly, for the other two of you not fully realizing what happened, by sunshine, cool breeze, and a general lovely landscape of endless forest in all directions. The trees are slightly different. These are much taller red fern trees, and there's quite a bit of wildlife that runs around freely as you were kind of led in to the grove. Your guide kind of turns and looks at the three of you. All right, well, it was fun conversating. No, it wasn't. She walks away past you.
Well, where are we supposed to go?
In that general direction, she points directly ahead of you over her shoulder before she pops out of existence in the direction you came. And it's at that time that the other two of you realize you're in a pocket dimension.
Well, I start heading that way.
Okay.
Sitting.
So, the three of you set off in the direction she roughly pointed to, and you walk, and you walk, and you walk, and you walk. And a good hour and a half of walking passes before finally you can see a few buildings that are... They're very open floor planny, no windows. There's doorways on these very lavish wooden buildings, but for the most part, they're completely open. Um, and there are 12 buildings that kind of surround this large bonfire that is just endlessly burning in the center of the buildings. And there are quite a few people kind of milling about, talking to each other. Some are making pottery. Others look to be tending to small gardens. Others seem to simply be tending to a few animals that look to be wounded in some way, shape, or form. Um, and no one seems to heed you entering. As you stand about,
Oh,
eventually an
okay.
individual, a male, human, maybe in his late 30s, heavily balding with just a thin line of hair that goes around a half circle on his head, wearing very simple rags that are a little tattered, but not terribly so. Kind of approaches the three of you. Um, Hello, travelers.
Hello.
Good
We're
day.
here to meet the druids. Are you the druids?
He kind of looks around. Yes, yes, we are the druids. Um, how can we be of help?
We have a letter from Cyphidius, and we ask for your assistance in the town.
Okay. He holds his hand out.
I guess we hand him the letter.
Okay. You go ahead and hand him the letter, and he turns around and he begins walking into the town. And he walks over to an elderly woman who looks like she's human, but she's gotta be in her late 70s, early 80s, which is a little unusual for humans. Humans can live that long and longer, but it's on the rarer side, especially with recent events. But he hands the letter to her, and she slowly looks up at him, takes it from his hands, and slowly opens it before you watch over the next several minutes. She reads the 3 pages of paper that Cyphidius gave you. Before she very carefully places it back in the letter, or in the envelope, and stands up and walks over to the 3 of you. So, you're in a spot of trouble, eh?
Definitely.
Hmm. Well, I suppose we can help you. Now tell me, are any of you... I take it back, I just need him. And she points over to Nash.
Why do you need Nash?
He will be useful for carrying one of the carts.
Alright. I can write him and make sure he goes the right way.
This is agreeable. This might take some time. Please. Sit, rest, eat. She begins to hobble away.
Do we
What
see
kind
anywhere
of
to
a
sit
spread they
down
got?
and eat?
You've got plenty of beautiful natural benches, you would say. Yeah, it more looks like roots of trees that have kind of arced out of the ground and then straightened out for a little while and then arced back into the ground again, that are sprawled out here and there. And you do see a few people sitting on them occasionally. And there is the scent of food coming from 2 of the homes. However, there's no food kind of like out in the open. Unless you consider all the good berries hanging from a couple of vines here and there.
That's a day's meal right there. But Dash would, feeling right at home, honestly, move past all the little stump chairs and root chairs and go investigate the food smell.
Okay. You go into one of the houses, and you are immediately overwhelmed with what looks like a very large indoor garden. There are, oddly enough, several vines that cover the ceiling, and from the vines hangs grapes, various different berries from black to strawberry to blueberry, all the ones you can think of that are edible. There are various different spices that kind of loosely hang from the walls. And there are also three large open burlap sacks that have fresh salted meat, it smells like, that kind of sit in them. And there's two large sacks of grain and a large sack of rice. And there's a small cooking pot that sits in the center of the room.
Okay, is anyone in here, or is it just empty house?
It's currently empty. No one is inside.
Okay, in that case, Desh is gonna make him. Is there big wooden platters, silverware, or is just grab
Not that
handfuls
you
of stuff?
see.
Okay, well, making a standard shirt basket out of his shirt. I'm gonna get a small little assortment of berries, a bit of the. Is the rice cooked or uncooked?
There's cooked and uncooked.
I'll get a little bit of the cooked rice. I'll get a smaller piece of meat, and then I'll get, if I can find one, a larger piece of meat.
Okay. You are easily
And
able to
then-
find that.
Bring all that back out, find myself a root chair, pick a few of the good berries that are provided, and slather them over the larger piece of meat as sort of a garnish, and then I toss Nash the larger piece of meat before I begin eating myself.
Fantastic. And Nash happily laps it up. A nice soft crunch coming from Nash every once in a while as he just hovers around you.
We've been traveling so much, I would assume that we might have some small plates and utensils inside of our things from camping.
With a traveler's pack, if any of you have that, there's a small pot, there's silverware, and there's a few small cooking instruments here and there. But it's generally considered that for the traveler's pack, the pot is your plate.
I have a mess kit.
Yeah, Mesquite probably provides all that.
Meskit definitely
got one as
provides all
well.
that, and should you wish, it provides a proper to-go plate.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Probably just have like
Yeah.
basic cooking stuff in mind, because I mean, I am a hunter, and I have, the gods intended forks and knives.
so
No
I'm going
sharp
to go
teeth
ahead and
help too.
make myself a plate and go back out, and I'll get a little bit of everything: the cooked rice, some meat, some good berries, and some strawberries and other berries, and go sit down and eat.
Okay. And Senna do the same? So Senna, as you are walking out of the hut, you notice a somewhat familiar face. It's a little bit more weathered than the last time you saw it, but you see an individual that you know as Raphael Kazulo. He was a druid that came by your old manor in Faerun from time to time and had some sort of dealing with your father, although you were sure exactly what it was for. However, your mother hinted at it possibly having ties to your father's old adventuring days when he was a young, strapping lad. He's a bit more weathered. He's a full elf, a sun elf to be exact. And last you heard, your mother said he was somewhere in his early 200s.
Does he see me?
At the time, he's currently tending to a few horses, and he hasn't looked over in your direction as he's more distracted by both the horses and a few children that he seems to be teaching along the way.
How familiar was I with him? Did I have
You had
conversations with him, or
conversations in
just see him in
passing.
passing?
You had conversations in passing, so you'd probably have like a good 20 or 30-minute conversation with him
Okay.
the 7 or 8 times that he was at the house. And they were usually pleasant, although very nature-based, as you might guess. Um, and from your general feeling, he's a okay guy. Not the best, but okay.
Since I am fairly sure he'd recognize me, I'll go over and say hello.
You watch as he turns to you, and immediately his face brights up a little. Oh, Senna, how are you? It's good to see you. I'm so glad. So rude of me. I didn't even check to see if you all made it out. I apologize.
Yeah, it was there was a lot going on. We all made it out. Glad to see you did too.
That's fantastic. What have you been up to?
Traveling around a lot. Actually, my friends over there and I have been doing
Kinda
some
waves past your
investigations for Siphidius. Probably have
Okay.
heard of him.
Yes.
We just had a big disaster at the city, so we've come to ask for help here. Yeah, it's been keeping busy. How about you?
Well, I spent most of my time over the last few months making sure the grove was properly set up, and a couple of rituals here and there to make sure that the wards are maintained. And I've been taking up as the resident teacher of the younglings. Um, just a little something to keep me busy. But I'm sorry, something happened at the city.
Yeah, there was a terrible storm. A tidal wave swept away a lot of the city.
Oh my!
Some weird demon ships crashed. It was a whole conglomeration of stuff that put a lot of people out of their homes and did a lot of damage.
Hmm.
Yep, not
There
normal
was
stuff.
a running theory around with some of the druids who went out to attempt to move the fog last time that it was tied some way to the water. Did it indeed come into the city when the city was flooded?
Most certainly did, and now it's gone.
Oh, it's gone. Where did it go?
Oh.
Well, I think I might just volunteer. If you'll excuse me. And he begins hurrying off in the direction that you saw the old woman go.
Hey, bye.
You see a few kids kind of staring at you from the other side of a horse. Hi. What are you wearing? It's shiny.
It's a breastplate. It's armor.
Yeah, she said breast. Yeah, and you hear a chorus of laughter from behind the horse. So, is that like made out of a special type of wood?
It's made out of metal.
Oh. That's kind of cool.
A little heavy.
Is your sword real?
It is, yeah.
Can we touch it and maybe, pick it up?
Sure, don't cut yourself.
Okay. And you watch as 4 kids come scurrying around the horse, almost Three Stooges style, as they go over and immediately go to the blade at your waist. And you can see a little girl's eyes kind of bright up as she reaches her hands up towards you.
Hand over the sword. I'm assuming these children are not going to kill me with it, so...
You never know.
Well, and that's how Senna left the group.
She fell upon her sword, I tell you. Nothing else. Nothing else.
I'll pull out my lyre and play them a little jig.
Oh, go ahead and give me a performance check. And actually, because of where you are, go ahead and get a +1 bonus.
Okay. How's
Ooh.
that?
A 31 will definitely wow.
These children are blown away by my amazingness.
I
It's the
think
best song they've ever heard.
You may have changed these children's future professions. They were definitely hard down the druid path, but some of them are now looking to multi-class in a bard. Most definitely.
That's right.
That's a terrible multi-class.
It kind of is, but parts are cool.
But you just watch as their eyes light up and they kind of dance around you in circles, and a few of them are mostly the boy and the girl who reached their hands up to you earlier, like look over the sword, and they kind of bop around as you're playing the song. Is there any song in particular that you play?
Playing the hen and her 5 chicks.
Fantastic. The Hen and Her 5 Chicks. All right. Just checking to make sure you didn't want to play any Metallica, but yeah,
That might be a little much for the Druid Grove.
it might be. It might be. But you go ahead and you play away, and as you're playing, you notice there are quite a few adults that are also kind of just going around working, and they begin to nod their heads to the rhythm of the song. Eventually, as you finish up the song, there's a bit of a round of applause that comes from around you from all different directions, and you watch as one of the girls, maybe in her late teens, may possibly young adult, kind of comes over from one of the huts, and she's still giving you like a very slow clap. That was extremely well played. I can appreciate someone who has a love for the arts.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I will give my most grandiose bow and flourish.
You do, and you watch as some of the kids try to repeat it, and of course they fumble a little bit, not fully being able to get down the form. Well, it's been a while since we've had music in this place, and all the kids go, yeah! So it's good to hear. But it looks like you've got the grandmother and a few others up and about on their feet, so I'm sure you're probably busy. We won't keep up too much of your time, isn't that right? Joseph, Mary, say hello, say goodbye. And Joseph and Mary look up at you, and they're the two who were holding your sword. And they slowly hand it back to you, a little pout in their lips. Hello and goodbye.
Hello and goodbye.
And they kind of scurry off and go back over to the horse and pick up the brush and try and go back to learning how to properly brush your horse without pissing it off.
Say, perks of having a scaly mount.
Yes, it is. Because then you can just rub, sand on it and you clean it right off.
Yeah, you just get the good old just roll in the dirt a little bit, a little chinchilla bath.
Exactly. And speaking of which, unbeknownst to you, Desh, as you kind of turn around and you hear these weird grunts coming from Nash, you notice that there are 2 children that have come up and crawled up Desh's tail, or not Desh's, but Nash's tail, and are trying to work their way over a few of the spines to sit on him. And Nash is just making these happy little grunts here and there. But as they notice that you see them, they just go, "He saw us! Run!" And they jump off.
Dash just watches them for a bit. They see him, he's gonna keep eating and just let them do their thing. They're not hurting Nash.
Fantastic. So as time passes, and there's a few people come over to you, and they have light conversation here and there, want to figure out where you're from, who you are, things like that. And you end up talking to 10, 15 people each, as they just have little questions here and there. Eventually, you watch as a good 7 individuals come out of some of the brush, and they have a number of intricately carved, almost elven in design, carts that they begin to bring with them. And you watch as the old woman kind of steps over to the three of you. I heavily apologize. I did not get your name, young Cobalt.
Oh, I am Desh.
Oh, Dash. It's good to meet you, Dash. I'm Alora.
Good to meet you, Laura.
Ride your beast with me so I can take you to the larger cart.
At which point, Desh will do the usual scurry up to Nash's saddle, get into position, and I'll walk Nash over to where he needs to be.
Okay. As you move Nash over, you can see that they have essentially almost what the equivalent of a semi-truck's size cart. And you can see that there are 4 very large, dark brown giant goats that are tied up in a pen. But you can see that 2 of them look to have been injured recently, and they have bandages and things like that on them. And she slowly works away at the leather straps that they had on the cart to make it one large strap, and she helps you get the large straps on Nash. And to put it into perspective, it's probably a good 11 feet long, and it's got 4 wheels, 4 large wheels on it. And as you're looking at it, you notice that it looks like there's like small chipped pieces of stone that kind of have collected in the corners, as well as a few other bits and bobs that kind of wore away from natural materials. So you can tell they just purely use this cart only to haul the really big stuff when they need to.
Okay.
And with that, all of the carts together, and they have you and Nash lead the pack. The woman walks over to the 2 of you and says, "Well, I believe we are ready to depart. I imagine there will be much masonry that needs to be done." Well, please
City
lead the way.
was washed away. All right. With that, Desh with a bit of a I imagine it's going to be very slow goings.
All right. Go ahead and give me an animal handling check. While you have ridden Nash quite a bit, Nash is not used to being a pack animal. So his movements are a little awkward to start out with.
All right, animal handling.
Mhm.
Come on.
Or if you
Don't be
have a speciality in drive, not a speciality, but if you have drive, that will also
No.
work.
I'm from a forest in the Feywild. You think I know what driving is? Oh, God.
Okay. 10 is actually what I was looking for.
Okay.
So it's very slow going, and you're probably moving at like the equivalent of 3 miles an hour. But you do manage to get Nash to tug this large cart with him. And he's very awkward. You could tell that he's like the leather straps look to be tearing here and there in places where you would think if he weren't a scaly animal, they would be chafing. And every once in a while, one of the druids will ride up on their horse and come and cast mending on the leather straps, as they kind of notice this as well.
So are we going like in terms of movement speed? Are we like above 30 feet, under 30 feet?
You are under. You're probably at 15 feet.
Okay, in that case, because Nash is my buddy, give and take thing, I will not be riding Nash right now because I may be a tiny kobold, but I don't want to weigh him down more than he absolutely has to be. So I'll be doing walking alongside, maybe like just to give him like, hey, solidarity. I'll either like grab a loose strap and like pull it with him, or I will maybe try to like go to the side of the cart and help move it a little bit. Just because he's
Sure.
my buddy, I want to do my fair share, even if I'm not going to help probably at all.
Fantastic. All
I
right.
also try to help by trying to pull with him on the leather straps.
Okay. Well,
Try to
Dash,
help him
go
along.
ahead and make me a. Oh man, I just realized they don't actually have leadership in this system. So, how about a persuasion check with advantage, and a +1 from Sasha.
Okay, so with advantage and +1, that's 18.
18. All right. So you notice that with you walking alongside and holding onto the strap and kind of giving a bit of a cheerio pep in your step, we're doing it, buddy. You manage to get him up to about 25 feet per.
Speed it up.
Yeah. So you manage to speed it up. And as time goes along, eventually you guys do make it back to the city walls. And before you actually enter, you're maybe a good 200 meters away from the gate. When Eleanor kind of rides up ahead of everyone and says, "Halt, this is the good spot right here. All right, there's a large stone deposit beneath us, so let's get to work. Um, young lad," and she looks over at you, Desh. Desh, I think you said your name was. I apologize, I'm not good with names. I'm usually just good with faces. You can go ahead and unstrap your companion, and when we need you, is there a place we could find you?
I believe, looking to the other two, we are staying in city for time being.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
Okay.
If need us, we are in city. If need me, Dash would point to the general place of the house he was given. He may sleep outside, but he'll sleep probably close to the house.
That is good to know. All right, very well. The three of you can run along and tell Sifo-Dyas that we are currently in the process of stone collection. And as she says that, you hear a loud thud come from the right of this caravan that you're leading, as one of the druids has gotten off of his horse and he slams his foot into the ground, and there's a 10-foot sheet of rock that comes flying out of the ground and jutting out. Still connected to the ground, but it just springs out. And the other druids begin getting off of their mounts, and they pull out some rudimentary picks and hammers and begin work at chipping it away from the earth itself to collect a giant slab. This will take a while, but so I will find you when the time is necessary. Do you have a pub or tavern that you could suggest for refreshments that's nearby?
Those two, because they seem more the sociable tavern crawlers.
What
Gone
I
to a
know
pub or
that
tavern here?
Both of you can make me. Make
the only one that seems to have done any socializing in bars, though.
Yeah, make me an investigation check.
Do I get advantage because I've been to a couple?
You've been to a couple, but you've been to a couple inside the city, not outside. And those were like deep in the city. With a 15, you haven't been there, but you know that just at the entrance to the gatehouses, there's a small pub called the Widow's Peak.
Okay, I tell them about the Widow's Peak.
It's an odd name for a pub, but we'll take it. Run along. I'm sure you have I don't know, adventuring or sewer crawling or something you must do. Are there
Yeah,
giant rats
well-
to be killed?
Yep, that's exactly what we do.
Yeah, if it was just giant rats, we would be in a very boring life.
I wave goodbye and do a what I know to be Saren Ray blessing upon them.
Make me a religion check.
Yeah.
See how well you get the blessing off.
Oh, not well.
So you like say it, but you know you don't know like all of the various different gestures that have to be made during the prayer. Like you've seen it done, but you don't fully remember all the movements that you have to make. But you attempt it, and no one seems to pay attention.
Father, the Son, and the shit ton of booze.
Wait,
Anyways.
is there a chapel or a place of worship for Saren Ray in the city that I
There's
would
not
know
one
of?
built. No. There's the only place of worship is in the Citadel itself.
Okay. And is there anything there for Saren Ray?
No, it's only
Worshippers
to
of
the
Saren Ray?
Allfather currently.
Okay. Okay. Well, it would be a mental note of mine to maybe make a small place for Saren Ray in my business then.
Okay. The three of you are free to do what you wish.
Just we go back to the Citadel first and let Cyphidius know that the druids are on mission and they are stone gathering. And
Fantastic.
carving.
Unless you guys want to have any more conversation with him, we can go ahead and say that you guys go ahead and you head over to the Citadel. You meet with Cyphidius and you go ahead and tell him the druids are doing their druid things with the stone. And on your way out of the Citadel, Father Andrew actually approaches you guys. Hi, hello, hi. I know we haven't seen much of each other, even though I'm holding your evil crown. So I have a bit of an ask for all of you. You guys brought back I guess you could call it a piece of rotted away deck, with my brother last time. Where did you guys get that from? He won't tell me.
He's referring to like the bit of ship that I got, or yes, that it came from the ship inside the walls.
Oh. It had runes on it. Were there any more runes like that inside the ship that you saw?
Only runes I saw were on that, at least I think, on that part. Other ones had been washed away.
Unfortunate. If you have the time, wild idea. Could you perhaps go and investigate one of the other ships, see if there's another set of runes like that, maybe more intact? I'm working on a little project. I think I may have found where to send your crown.
Okay. I mean, I'm fine going to it because there's like a ship that washed up just a ways north, right? Or is that where all the ships are busted north?
There are 5 ships outside of the city. There's one that's right on the shoreline that's kind of behind the legend for Windgrove. And then the other 4 are further past the E on Windgrove, they actually like are at the edge of the forest and then push into the forest itself.
I'm sorry, what did you say his name again is Father what?
He's Father Andrew.
Andrew.
Father
The
Andrew.
half
Okay.
orc,
Yeah.
right? He's a half
Yes,
orc.
he is a half orc.
Oh,
And
the
he's
half. Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
adopted
That's-
brother of Cyphidius.
Yeah. Okay.
To spice things up a little, say it shouldn't be too risky. 35 gold. to fetch me a little bit more intact runes. Of course, if you can't find anything that's more intact, if you perhaps notice that it has a different part of the circle that's still intact from the original one you found, that would also be useful.
Okay.
Check it.
And can do. Gives us thing to do while druids fix city.
Fantastic. I appreciate it. I'm sorry, you guys must have been traveling for ages. Can I get you anything to drink, perhaps, or?
Do you know anything about the prayers for not the All Father, but for Sarenrae?
I know a few here and there. I'm not versed in Sarenrae. I'm a practitioner of the Allfather. But I was married to a follower of Sarenrae for a while, so yeah, I know a few.
I'd really appreciate it if you could maybe introduce me to someone that might be able to teach me.
Well, there's they haven't built a church yet, but there is. Oh, well, I suppose that's underwater now. There was a gathering of followers that met at the Seaside Brew, right along the docks. It probably had 100 members, but that's probably not there anymore. Um, I'll see if any of the clergy members or if any of the um, attendants survived the ordeal. Um, but if worst comes to worst, I can of course tell you the few things that I do know about it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
He might notice that she's a little bit smitten.
Let me roll insight for him. And then insight is wisdom based. So his wisdom is a 4. One might say he notices.
She tries her best to hide it, but she's a bit smitten.
If there's any way I can help you beyond that, you know where I am. I usually stay here, unsurprisingly.
She blushes pretty hard and says, thank you.
Yeah. Right, this is a little going away now. And he walks back into the back towards this chapel.
She just watches him walk. In her own little
The
world.
tree.
Can we go investigate ship now?
Yes.
Yeah, the ship. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's go.
All right. As the three of you head off towards the ship, we're going to take a very quick break because I actually have to run to the bathroom. So we'll be right back, folks. See you soon. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Black Waves. Sorry about that. All right, getting back into things. So you watch as Father Andrew walks back into his chapel, and the three of you are left in the courtyard with a new mission in mind to go and investigate one of these ships for possible more runes.
I think in this case, we're really following Nash and Desh because of the fact that we know that ships have come in, but we don't know which ship he searched and where the other one would be.
There's the one that's in the city.
Yeah, there's one in the city, but I know there's also one like maybe over here in this area. Maybe over here.
Got a bunch of them up this way,
Mm.
and there's one roughly over here. And I'm thinking we go to this one in case there's stuff left over. And we don't have to deal with a bunch of leftovers from whatever fleet of those ships has.
Yeah, because I know part of some stuff came into some farmland. So, Aaron, is it over here?
1 second, I'm not on that map layer. Hold on. Go ahead, point it out. It's directly behind the legend. That's why it's not drawn out on the map.
Okay. So since we're over here at the Citadel, we'll head that way.
Okay, fantastic. So you guys begin making your way out of the city and into the farmland. And let me see here. Is there any preparations you guys make before you go over to the ship?
No.
Fantastic. As you
It makes me feel like we should have done something.
as you all make
We
your way
have all
over
our
to
gear on us.
the ship, that is true. You do have all your gear on you.
I just closed out of Roll20.
For the most part, if you remember, this is actually the ship that was still on fire when it hit the shore. But you can see clearly the fire has died out, and this one landed upright, unlike the one in the city. So you make your way along the beach, and you are met with the large backside of the ship, the aft of the ship, with its huge ornate rudder, kind of just jutting out into the air. And the hole that the fire left is on the third and second deck. And now you have the fun task of figuring out how you would like to get on top of it. For a bit of reference, the ship is completely black. You can see that the masts themselves look to have been blown off in what looks like a battle that happened at sea. So some of you may have been familiar with naval combat back in Faerun. Oftentimes during cannon barrages, they would try and demast ships to leave them kind of stranded and unable to move in the water. And it looks like this ship had that happen to it, but you don't see any broken away pieces of wood or any shrapnel damage to the ship from stray cannonballs not hitting their target. It just looks like the masts were cleanly ripped off. I shouldn't say cleanly. There are jagged pieces of wood left where the masts once were. Also, go ahead and give me perception checks as you get closer.
Perception. That's Nash's sheet. I need my sheet. Oh, my rolls are on fire tonight.
Wow. Okay. So Sasha and Desh, actually Senna too, because you hit a 12. You all notice that there's the faint smell of sulfuric acid and what faintly smells like burnt pork. That kind of wafts from the ship, with the sweet tang of rotting bodies.
Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. All right, since I'm the only one with a cloak that allows me to walk up the wall.
I could ride Nash as he climbs up.
That's true.
Oh,
Nash does have a natural climbing skill.
all right. So what
I
I
can
will
cast
do
fly
is,
on myself.
instead of you casting a spell, I'll hold on to you, Senna, and I'll take you. If you'll hold on to me, I'll walk up.
Be bigger than you.
You could try it. I mean, I half expect that's just going to peel you off the ball like one of those suction cup balls.
Well, my magical cloak, won't let me fall.
Is your magical cloak built for more than one person?
The magical cloak will let you fall if you lose footing.
Oh,
It is possible.
I can levitate or fly myself up there. I could probably carry you up.
Or
okay. Well,
we
then
can just give Nash and Dash a rope, go up there and tie the rope
Oh,
off.
I have climbing.
You do have a rope of climbing, yeah.
that's
I
right.
have a
You
rope
do.
of climbing.
Okay, so I will walk up, and Nash and Dash can climb up, and you can use the rope of climbing, and we can all get up there that way. So I start walking up the ship.
Okay. So you begin to walk up the ship, and it's easy because you have the cloak, and it lets you attach to surfaces. But you can tell from the way your footfalls seem to latch into the ship, this would normally be a pretty difficult job, as it feels like the wood has like warped and become soft in places, and a bit crumbly. Now that it's sort of dried out over time. That's not what I meant to do. No, I just want to... Okay. Oh, because you don't have that... Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. Okay. That's definitely not what I intended to do. How do I undo that? Nope, that's not working. Oh, God. Sasha, could you do me a favor? Could you take your image and put it into your token slot?
Take my. Okay.
Yeah, and I need to I need to reload my Roll20 because I think your thing broke.
Well, how do I do that? I don't know where my token is.
You don't know where your token is?
I don't see my token. My image is in my token.
Hold on. Let me see here. Oh, looks like it's working now. Yeah, there we go. Got it. Never mind. Roll20 just broke for a moment there. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I gotta restart the music on my end. Okay, so, but you go ahead and you climb up, and Senna, you're using the rope of climbing just to like make it go up there and latch around to whatever it can. So, Sasha, as you get topside, the odorous smell of sulfur and rotting cooked bodies becomes almost overwhelming, and I need you to make me a Constitution check. Constitution saving throw.
Oh, wait a minute. A saving throw.
Yeah, Constitution. You rolled Constitution save. You did it. So
okay.
15. You feel a bit of bile like beginning to come up into your throat, but you manage to stop that and swallow it back down. Whew, it is not pleasant up here. However, as you get up here, you notice that it looks like there are ropes, and there's what you can see is the wheel for steering the ship, and miscellaneous bits and bobs and weapons strewn about all over the deck. And you get the pleasure of watching as the rope of climbing begins to slowly go over the edge of the ship, over the railing. And do you try and hook it onto the railing?
Yes.
Okay. You go over and you grab onto the rope and assist it in wrapping it around the railing. Go ahead and give me a dexterity check for making a good knot.
Make its own knot.
Ooh.
It can, yeah. So with a 4, you attempt to put it into a knot. However, with any pressure applied to it, it immediately unfolds. And you watch as the rope kind of wiggles before going back around the railing and beginning to slowly knot itself into place before there is a loud tug, and you can hear the lights crackling of wood, and it knots itself, and the rope goes slack. And down below, the three of you watch as it just begins to sway in the breeze and tap lightly on the ship. And Desh and Nash, are you guys just gonna climbing speed up? Okay. Go. By the way, you're muted. Go ahead and make me a athletics check for Nash.
I just think I'm muted. I'm not.
You're no longer muted.
My thing wasn't up. Maybe I was just too soft-spoken that time.
Perhaps too soft in the voice. 21. Wow. So, and I also need a athletics check from Senna as she goes up the rope. But with a 21, Nash begins to climb up the side of the ship, and you notice about halfway up is when he starts to run into problems as crumbly pieces of wood snap and break off beneath his paws, but never enough of a hole is made for you to slip inside the ship. It's just patches here and there. But he does manage to make it onto the top of the ship and comes up right next to Sasha. Senna has a little bit rougher of a time, and it takes her maybe an additional 2.5 minutes to finish climbing up the ship as her foot goes in through the errant hole here or there that's formed as her foot taps onto a piece of wood and then immediately goes through the side of the ship before she has to wiggle her way out safely and then begin climbing again, only to her other foot go into another hole. And that process repeats every couple of feet until eventually she makes her way out. As all of you are now up on top, something that becomes readily apparent is there are two doors. There's the large trap doors that lead into the lower decks. Of course, there's the gaping hole on the other side of the ship that's kind of leaned towards the shore. And there is the swung wide open door of where theoretically the captain's cabin is.
Okay, first I'm going to collect some weapons.
Okay. Sure, you go about and you begin collecting up some weapons and I assume putting them away in your bag of holding.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and roll me a d20 and then a d10 and a d5. And the d20
Okay.
will be how many long swords you get, the d10 will be how many axes you get, and the d5 will be how many daggers you get.
And a D5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how do I flash R?
Space 1d5. All right. So you get six long swords, 3 axes, and 3 daggers that you're able to collect scattered around the deck.
All right, is there a way below deck that we can see?
There are 2. So you have the large trapdoor, like I explained earlier, that's sort of in the center of the deck here on the top deck. You also have the gaping hole, and both of those could lead you into the lower decks.
I searched the bodies for money.
There are no bodies.
No bodies, but I
No
smell the
bodies.
bodies.
You can smell rotting bodies, and you can smell burnt flesh, but you don't see any above deck.
Okay, just weapons above deck. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So there's nothing
Repeating-
on this deck, like no sigils or any of that.
Go ahead and make me an Arcana check.
Right?
With a 12. You can see in various different places, for instance, along the very bottom of where the mass would be, there are several sigils that kind of go circle around them. You can see intricately carved into the now snapped and broken and crumbled wheel of the ship. There looks like there was a ring of symbols that kind of circled the wheel. And you can see on a few small pieces here and there, just randomly carved almost. There are sigils that you do see, but none of them look to be magical in any way, shape, or form. They seem to all be based in various demon tongue.
I'm wondering whether or not I should bag any of these. What do you guys think? Should we bag any of these?
I mean, can we clearly tell the difference between these and the runes that Dash got from the other ship?
The runes that Dash got from the other ship were clearly in chalk. These are not. These are carved into the wood.
I think we should keep looking. If we don't find anything else, we can take these, but
Okay.
I don't think these are anything significant.
All right. So what door do you want to go down?
But I was afraid of fog before, so maybe don't listen to me.
Well, Dash is going to repeat his old tactic, which was get his hooded lantern on a rope and lower it in the gaping hole to quote-unquote scout what might be inside the ship.
Okay. So you go over to the gaping hole in the side of the ship, and it gives you a clear, shattered view of the two decks below you. You can see that there's the second deck where it looks like there were rows of cannons. Some of them still intact, others completely shattered and have been thrown on the other side of the ship, on the side that you climbed up. And there are several crates with a fine black powder that are scattered along that back wall. And there is also dozens of bodies rotting away, some burned away, that line the second deck. Below that, on what you can see of the third deck, which isn't much, even with the hooded lantern, you can barely get what looks like just the faintest glimpse of crates and looks like possibly some material to repair the sails with, but you'd have to actually go down further to see what else is down there.
So what deck did you find the that ring portal thing on?
It was on the bottommost deck of last time, right?
It was actually on the second deck the last time, but you don't see it on the
Second
second deck this time. You don't see any markings whatsoever. You don't see washed chalk or anything like that. Make me a perception check as she's kind of bringing this up and reminding you of what you saw and smelled on the other ship.
All right, come on. Perception, dice, warm up finally.
With a
These are all double
16,
digits.
as she's kind of talking, she begins to slowly muffle out for you as your ears sort of focus more on that third deck, and you can just hear a light boom, boom, boom coming from the third deck. And it's only audible now that you're kind of hovering over the edge of the ship with the hooded lantern on the rope. Excuse me.
Okay. well, convey what I'm seeing and hearing to everyone else, and might need to go deeper because I probably can't see all of the bottom deck from just this hole.
You definitely can't. You can only see like a small sliver of it, which gave you that view of the crates and that repair material that you can see. However, go ahead.
I take out my sketchbook and I walk around and sketch out what the runes were around each thing and write down what they were and where they were.
Okay. Let's see here. Make me a dexterity check. See how quickly you can get this done. Okay, 14. You're able to get this done within about roughly 5 minutes. Much of the time is taken up by the complexity of the carved runes that you see. Sort of like being a foreigner who doesn't write in kanji. You end up going through the same process where, you know, someone who's versed in it would write it very fast, whereas you have to take time, draw each line out, and take constant glances back and forth between your notepad and the symbols for reference.
Can I also do some rubbings?
You can. Do you want to do rubbings of each of them? Because it'll
Yes.
take quite a bit of paper to do rubbings of where the masks are, because those are large runes that go around the entire encompass the entire mass.
So I don't have enough paper?
You do. It would just it'd take more time, and it would take a lot of the paper that you do have in this notebook. You're probably looking at about 10 sheets of paper per mast, and there's 3 different masses and mass, and each mass has different symbols on them.
Are any of the symbols the same where I can concentrate on just getting a rubbing of each one, each symbol?
Go ahead and I'm not going to make you do a check for this. As you go over them, there's only one symbol that repeats. It is the symbol of essentially the male and female sign, but interweaved into one symbol. An eye of some sort. It looks a little bit like the Eye of Sauron, ironically. Surrounded by 3 boxes that are of varying different size, and inside of each box, or inside of the top and second box, there are smaller scribblings of symbols. And you see one of those symbols on each of the masks, but every other symbol on the mask is different besides those.
Okay. All right, then I'll do rubbings of all of them because, except for that, I'll just do rubbings of that symbol once.
Okay. So you go ahead, you take the time to do that. And while she's doing that, because this is going to take her a bit of time, is there anything that the two of you would like to get done?
Did you say there was like a door into the captain's room?
Wide open, there's a door into the captain's cabin, or at least where the captain's cabin would be. However, it's pitch black, and you'd have to walk over there and maybe poke a light through the door to get a proper view. From what you can see, you can just see what looks like a wooden desk that kind of catches a little bit of the sunlight, or not sunlight. Oh wait, no, it's pitch black. You can't see that.
Okay. I'm gonna go over there and I don't have any light spells.
We
do
do
have
have solar
torches.
lights.
And you do have
We
the
have
Yeah, I have
solar
a
lights.
torch. Oh, that's right. We
And you
have
have
those
torches.
solar lights.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'll hand her a solar light.
I will bring a light with me.
Okay.
And
I'll hand her a
investigate
solar
the
light from my.
captain's cabin.
Sure. You go ahead and
it's
flick it
in my
on,
bag
and
of-
luckily, before the sky went dark, it was fully charged. So, as you flick on the small lever that turns it on, you watch as it begins to immediately brighten the area as if you had the sunlight spell. concentrated on the object. And you can see that there's like 6 small bars on the bottom of it, and it's currently all the way up to the green in the bars. So it's fully charged from what you've learned about these things. And you go ahead and you poke it in through the open doorway, I'm assuming. So inside, what you can immediately see is a completely disheveled interior. There is a once ornament, but now heavily destroyed bed that looks like it at one time had ornate velvet sheets adorning it, which are now ripped. The entire frame looks like it had several carvings in it of absolutely stunning elven women who... It's just the upper bust of elven women, but each of them screaming out in horror. And they left behind a ghostly apparitionist trail, almost as though they were souls screaming out. There is also a beautiful but destroyed oak table that is kind of slid and looks like it's slammed against the bed, with several sheets of paper that have kind of shellacked themselves onto the leaning wall of the boat. There's small bits and bobs like ink wells and quills and what looks like maps kind of just strewn about, and many of them heavily waterlogged and soaked through. There are 3 chests. One of them has its lock cracked open, and they're kind of like piled up in the space of the bed frame. And there is the overwhelming smell of black powder and 2 ornate pistols that lie on the bed. And the black powders, it looked like it was in a small keg and also a pre-filled horn. And the keg is like smashed up against the wall and spread the black powder all over the base of the bed. There is no body, however.
Okay. I'm gonna take the pistols and the powder horn.
Okay, and these are not Tinu pistols. These are not modern day looking pistols. These are old, probably our equivalent would be very early 13th century pistols. So they're black powder, but instead of having the flint, they have instead a piece of rope that is that is tied from the trigger and the hammer, and you can see that the rope has been singed from being lit on fire previously. And there's a small, just open pan below that where you assume that the rope lowers into and lights the black powder.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take them anyways. If nothing else, they're a cool, like, historical kind of thing.
Absolutely.
They belong in a museum.
Well, she can sell them in the city as an item.
Absolutely, she could. And they would not be historical to your own people. But as you kind of pick them up, you notice they're very weighty. And they don't have the classical wooden frames. They actually have metal frames. And much like how I described the elven women busts that line the bed frame, the grips and the undersides of the pistol also have that elven women bust, where it's like the underside of the pistol has the ghostly, like, after image of the elven woman, and then it's the pistol grips that actually have the physical bust and the screaming elven woman looking outwards. And they look to be made of solid silver with a golden trim. And the actual triggers themselves are golden as well.
I will. You said there was a desk.
Yes, mostly intact.
I want to go through the desk and, like, look under the drawers, and it seems to me that a captain might have some secret hiding spots
Absolutely.
in their quarters, so I'm going to search for that kind of thing.
Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Oh,
7. You go ahead and you begin rifling through the drawers, and what you find in the drawers is there's an intricate, beautiful marble and golden inlay compass. So it's like the full thing probably weighs about a good 5 pounds, and it's hollowed out marble with a glass compass inside of it. And it has a red inlaid dragon at the bottom of it, on the bottom side of the compass. Aside from that, you also managed to find a small coin purse, but it's not actually filled with coins. It's filled with what you can only assume is human ears that have rotted away mostly, but still give, oddly enough, this fresh red dripping blood,
Yeah,
even
I'm
though
not
they
gonna
look like
take
they're
that.
several days old. Other than that, you'd also find in there a sexton, if you know what that is. And the last thing that you would end up finding in the drawers are what look to be some waterlogged letters, each of them having a broken wax seal of a anchor. And make me a religion check.
well, guess I have a little bit of that cleric in me. Oh, nope.
A demonic iconography of someone, but you're not sure who.
The letters what is there any writing left on the paper that I can make out?
From what you can see as you go through them, each of them has a silver embroidered title at the beginning of them that says Captain Asmodeus. And
That's worrying.
You can make me a religion check on that.
I hope it's a coincidence.
Just hoping it's a little coinky dink. You have no clue. Unless specifically you think your character would have knowledge of such things, but I doubt it.
Okay,
I
we'll
don't
do a
think
religion
so.
check. It's a religion check.
You would also have to see
I'll go
letters.
out and show it to everyone else, of course. So
Yeah, sure. So go ahead and make one. A natural 20,
oh, there
21.
we go.
When you see the symbols and the writing, you recognize it as the religious symbol and the name of the King of the Nine Hells, Asmodeus.
Whoa.
Again, let's just hope the name is just, that Asmodeus guy was so evil and awesome. I'm going to name my demon spawn after him.
Well, I tell everyone, hey, that's the religious symbol and the iconography of the King of the Nine Hells.
Luckily for you
a major
guys,
player.
it looks like these were not sealed by the captain. These seals were broken. And where you see Captain Asmodeus is at the bottom of the letter. So it's usually sincerely Captain Asmodeus or best regards Captain Asmodeus.
So there's at least a demon captain out there, possibly, we're dealing with the King of the Nine Hells, his side hobby, a little privateering when he's bored of ruling devil kind.
Maybe.
Oh,
or
man.
someone who just took that as their name.
I'm still hoping for that, but I won't hold my breath because it's you, Aaron.
That's kind of scary. Am I finished with the rubbings?
You're still working at them. for a little bit longer, but you're almost done. Do you want to do anything with the 3 chests that are in the room? You know, one of them is open because the lock is broken.
Okay, the one that is open, I will look inside of.
Okay. Where you expect to find gold, instead what you find are 12 eggs. None of them cracked. They
Kind of
are
eggs.
make me an Arcana check.
Good at making checks.
You are unsure. However, each egg is has a in the background of the egg it's like all obsidian black, and then in the foreground they're either white, gold, silver, or blue spots.
Okay.
Would this be a? Have I ever seen
Dragon eggs?
weird eggs? I mean, I'm from the Feywild. There's gotta be some
Come
weird shit.
look at
in
these
those
eggs
Sure,
that I
you-
found.
You
What
guys
are
can make
these
me Arcana
eggs?
checks.
Here,
All
somebody take
right.
some guidance to see if you can tell what these eggs are. Here,
My
Dash.
Arcana is -1, so.
Oh, here, Sasha, have some guidance. on your check.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to do my Arcana check.
13.
And
Yeah,
then the
that's-
guidance would be what?
A D4.
Slash R 1D4. Uh-oh. Well, it would be good if I was actually typing. Slash R 1D. 17.
Let's see if I roll. That's a 1.
Not bad, all right.
There
And
we
a
go.
2.
I don't know magic.
So, Sasha, you recognize these as Behir eggs.
Oh boy.
How do you spell that?
Behir.
What is it?
Behirs are essentially large to gargantuan.
Dragonkin.
Snaky
Dragonkin. They've got
little arm
8.
things.
They're like 8-legged, large to gargantuan salamanders with horns.
Who can breathe the element of choice, I believe.
Yes, who can breathe an element of choice.
Cool. Oh, we should keep those.
Yeah, put them in a farm. It'll be great until you realize how bad they are. It's like, no, lock them down.
Well, at least we can give them to Cyphidias.
Yeah.
Sorry, they don't have 8 legs. They have 10 legs and then 2 arms. 2 stubby little arms.
12-limbed creatures.
The other 2 chests are locked.
The other 2 chests are locked, but they don't look like they're magical locks.
I can try.
Well, I have thieves' tools, of course I can, and
You can get one chest.
This
I
is
can get
my
the other.
You're
thing.
a
This is-
swashbuckling buccaneer.
I'm a swashbuckler, so this is
Should
kind of my
we-
thing.
Can
I'm gonna
I
go ahead and
can we check them over, make sure they're not like trapped in some way first?
yeah.
Seems
I'm
like
gonna
a
check for traps.
pirate captain thing to do.
How do I check for traps?
If you would like to check for traps, I believe it's just simply a dexterity check.
Okay.
Not a dexterity save, a dexterity check. So what's your...
Okay.
Give me one
Sorry.
second. I can... There we go.
Oh,
You don't think they're trapped. You go around and you kind of feel around the chest, and
I think they're
you don't
trapped.
feel any latches. You don't see any springs, and
So I pull out my thieves' tools and but first I'm going to do an Arcana check and figure out whether or not there's any magic around them.
you don't see any runes that would lead you to believe so. You'd need an actual detect magic to know if there was
Okay.
magic that you were not
Alright.
able to see around.
All right. Well, I think they're cool, so I'm going to go ahead and unlock the first one. And do I click on my thieves' tools for that, or what?
Yep, click on your thieves' tools.
Nice.
22.
Someone can roll a roll tonight.
When with deft hands, you go to the first lock chest, and within a few moments, as she moves her lockpicks around, there's a deft, and the lock comes open.
Okay. All right, it's open. Go ahead and open it, guys.
And
Senna?
we got a long stick.
Don't trust anything anymore. I will. I'll flip it open with my warhammer and lean away as I'm doing it, just in case. Cover my beautiful face.
Okay, give me 1 second. As you open up this chest, what you see inside is because you're from Faerun, give me history checks as you see a set of armor within.
Okay, let me give a history check.
No,
From
nothing.
Faerun, so
That's true. You're not from Faerun, and I don't think anyone from.
Uh,
Oh,
I am. I am, but I don't recognize it.
yeah. Unfortunately, you don't recognize the armor, although it looks like it's definitely important in some way, shape, or form.
Guys, I know this is important. It's like in the back of my mind. I don't remember. It's something from the Feywild, though.
Well, we should take it with us and have
it's from Faerun.
people
Yeah,
Faerun.
look over it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Feywild, yeah.
Cyphidius or somebody might know.
Okay, I go for the next trunk.
Okay.
Back to my thieves' tools.
What kind of armor is it? Like, what is it?
It
metal?
is metal. I believe it classifies as plate armor. Full plate.
Best defense.
This one not so great.
With an 11, you go over to the last lock and you begin to try and pick it, and eventually you hear a click, and you think you're done, and you pull your lock picks out. No lock, it's still locked.
Nice try.
Try it again.
Okay. I have a +7 to my Dave's tools, but okay.
Same. You go in, wiggle them around for a little bit. Hear another click. It's still locked.
All right, this one's a bit harder. Why don't you try,
Okay.
Nash?
I will inspire Dash with
Dash,
my
not
inspiring
Nash.
word.
I
And
highly
tell her
doubt
how
Nash
wonderful
is going
it
to
is.
come over and definitely. I would love to see that. Just
I mean, Dash.
No, he doesn't even.
Dash,
He doesn't use his big hands. He just like puts the thieves tools in his mouth and just.
This
He's a
one
very
just-
skilled boy. But knowing my
Can't seem to
dice
get it.
rolls, I'm going to fail as well. Or not.
No,
You
you
were
got
saying.
it.
with a 26, you hear, and you watch as the latch opens.
All right. You want to open it up?
Flip open the chest.
Okay.
Hopefully I don't get a fucking pasteful trap.
Roll me up. No, I'm kidding. Inside, you find 4 immaculately kept scrolls.
Paper. Not interesting.
Go to see what the scrolls are.
Okay. As you begin to unfold them, you immediately realize that they have definitely runes of a magical sort.
Okay.
Would you like to make me an Arcana check to try and figure out what this spell is?
We're so arcane in this party.
All right.
Scroll of teleportation.
Okay, so the first one is a scroll of teleportation.
I think they all are.
All right. What's the next one?
Roll away.
Oh, we gotta.
Oh, I have to do it for each one?
Yeah. You're not sure. It's very demony.
Let me take a look at that one. Nope, don't know either. I
Lots of
can
demon
only roll
stuff.
7.
Uninterested glance.
Okay. We don't know what the second one is.
Desh
Uh,
realizes what the second one is, funnily enough. Desh, you recently saw this spell in action, Finger of Death.
Oh,
Finger
delightful.
of Death.
I didn't like that.
Make a zombie manservant out of somebody.
Okay, geez. Okay, let's go for the third scroll, find out what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I got nothing tonight. Must have hit my head. That fog must still be
Desh's
trapped in my
eyes
brain.
lock onto the scroll as he comes
Wow.
over. No, I recognize that. Senna does that all the time. It's Wall of Fire.
Wall of Fire.
I mean, death, weird magic teleportation, fire. It's very on brand.
Okay, let's try the last one. See what it is.
It's a spell of Unholy Smite.
Unholy Spite.
Smite.
Might.
Basically an
Smite.
evil paladin move.
Unholy Smite.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have chest of eggs, chest of armors, and chest of paper.
I put
Um,
all of it into my bag of holding.
To give you guys an idea of what the armor looks like, give me 1 second. The armor.
Behind the scenes picture.
Yeah, unfortunately,
So-
chat won't be able to see this.
How will we see it?
I'm gonna post it on Discord.
Okay. All right. So.
That's what the armor looks like.
Oh,
Oh.
Like
Oh,
a Nazgul.
it is about 80% spikes. It's 100% just black and ominous.
It's super ominous. Okay, I'm going to put all of it, the armor, the eggs, the scrolls, everything in my bag of holding.
Okay.
Because we're just taking it straight to Cypher-Diaz. It's not like it's going to be in there long.
Fantastic.
All right, I'm looking around the room to see what else is in here that we can use. Are there any charts? Are there any maps? Are there any letters?
There are a few maps that are sprawled about in the room that are water soaked.
I take all the maps.
Okay. Go ahead and grab those up. Do you look at any of them?
Wad them up
Sure.
in a big, like, wet ball of paper.
No.
So you go ahead
Very
and
carefully put them-
unfurl one of the maps. And what you can see is the roll me a 1d4.
Okay. We go back here. Oops. Hold on for a second. Gotta get that window back up. /R 1d4. 4.
Okay. So as you unfurl this one, what is sprawled out before you is a navigational chart that shows a series of several islands that surround almost in the shape of David's star, a large, some might even say massive archipelago. And written in where you assume the water to be, you see the words Lucidian Ocean.
Okay, I'm going to look at the next one.
Okay.
I'm going to roll it back up carefully, put it in my bag of holding, look at the next one.
Okay.
Do I roll another 1d4?
Mm-hmm. Now roll me a 1d3, actually.
1d3?
Mhm.
3.
What you open up? You said 3. Okay. Roll me a dexterity check.
Okay. Okay, that sounds scary.
So, you notice that as you begin to unroll this one, it's a lot older than the other ones, and the map actually, like, because it's so heavily waterlogged, pieces of it like fall off. But what you end up seeing is a large Pangea, essentially, and just in waterlogged black letters that kind of look like runny mascara, you see the words Gladriel.
Dark and terrible queen.
All shall
I'm
of
glad
me
you
in
get that
despair.
reference.
How do you spell that? G-L-A... Gladiel?
Gladriel.
Gladriel. Okay. All
A
right.
dark lord, but a queen, bright and terrible as the dawn.
Yeah. Elven Queen. Scary, scary Elven Queen. Okay. For the pieces that fell off,
Mhm.
can I very gently put them back in place?
Unfortunately, you cannot. As with the
Can I?
6th, they are unfortunately lost to the beauty of waterlog and time.
Okay. All right. I gently roll it back up and put it away.
Okay.
I'll look at the next one. How many are there?
There are only 2 more left, so 1d2. Two. Okay. You go ahead and unroll this one. And this looks to actually be the newer of the maps. As you unroll it, you notice the same text, Gladriel, but this time on a completely differently rearranged continent of the same rough shape. Or sorry, not rough shape, but rough size as the one that you were looking at before. However, you notice that its borders have completely changed, and you can see in the center, surrounding the words Gladriel, there looks to be inscribed a vast desert, and there's a crater right underneath the center of the text. And in very small scribble above the words Galadriel, you can see the Golden City. And you can see the mountains of Uthelheim in the north. You can see the rainforests of Kadir to the south. And it looks like this map was being worked on. Also, on the far edges of the map, you can see on the far left side a sliver of that archipelago you saw on the other one, with the Lucidian Ocean written near it, and 2 of the islands. And on the opposite side of the parchment, you can see another continent that's that only partially shows maybe about a good 100 or so miles of its show on this map, and it is marked the Black Sea, is what's next to it, and you don't see a name to that landmass either.
So that means we live on a landmass that's actually called Gladriel. We live on Gladriel because the Golden City is here. Okay, I carefully roll that back up and I put that in my bag of holding, and then I open the last one.
As you open up the last large piece of scroll parchment,
Gently.
I need you all to make me Constitution saving throws.
Rolling tonight. Oh, that was okay.
We're in the captain's quarters, so Nash, I imagine, is not inside because it's probably too cramped.
That is a good point. I needed to do something.
God damn
What's
it.
he gonna do to Nash?
You leave my boy alone.
Don't touch Nash.
It's nothing bad. Don't worry.
He's our beautiful boy.
22, 19, 14. All right. So, you all watch as the paper begins to be unfurled, and all you see is a litany of demonic text upon the parchment as it begins to slowly and slowly unfurl carefully. And eventually, as you get to about midway down the page, you begin to see the outer edge of that frame of that symbol that I mentioned to you that repeats on the mass. And the moment you get halfway up that symbol, there is a loud popping noise. And luckily you all pass the save, so none of you are unconscious as you are teleported immediately. And I need to bring
Fudge.
you over to this map.
Oh my god.
Boop.
Oh shit.
The three of you are teleported
Oh.
into
Ew, what is that? I don't like this.
a
I don't want
large
it.
cavern.
I don't want this to happen.
Almost completely pitch black if it weren't for the smell and heat and light coming from behind you. As you briefly take a look back, you can see a large stone bridge with thousands of screaming souls reaching out in your direction in an unending wave. And just the view of what looks like two large mountainous peninsulas that drip waterfalls of lava. You are standing on what looks like a raised plateau yourselves. In the center, a large, almost ring, one might say. And surrounding that ring is a brass circle that goes around the entire length. There are four large dog-like creatures that are hunched over, and you've seen these creatures before.
I was gonna say,
They
they look
shot
familiar.
spines at you the last time you fought them, surrounding a completely obese, bloated, and cackling corpse of a creature.
Am I
that's-
still holding the scroll?
No. That sits on its stubby small legs and laughs obnoxiously with a large bone in its stubby small arms.
Oh shit.
Oh, time.
I would like you all to roll me initiative as I get the
All right,
initiative
well,
tracker up.
I don't got my buddy Nash down here, but I got a gun and we're in hell. Let's rip and tear. I get advantage of my initiative, so thank God. I'll take that 23 over that 6.
And
You find
unfortunately,
initiative.
the song is not playing for me for some reason.
I hear it.
Oh, you hear it? Oh, okay. Well, it would,
I
it would
hear
be
it.
nice if I could hear it. So I'm going to refresh my roll 20 real quick.
I'm trying to find my initiative.
Thank God I just got a magic gun. Super shotgun it is not, but I will take a enchanted rifle.
Oh, I so fucking suck. Oh my god.
There we go. Now it's playing.
Yeah. I'm in Sexville, USA.
Okay, let me finish adding turns here.
I have a plan. Never mind, some of them are fucking quick.
Oh fuck.
But I think I win the speed tie because I have 4 decks and they have 3.
I have to pull out 2 weapons. I pull out my my blade of lawful judgment in my hands, and with my tail, I pull out my.
Get to wait for your turn.
Well, you have to wait for your turn to do that.
Right
As this is technically combat starts the moment you pop in, and you don't have time to immediately draw weapons. So at the moment, all of you are on our have your weapons sheathed, and Desh, luckily enough, because you have a +4 instead of a +3, you end up going first.
Yeah, so I'm going to see if I can't gimp the charge. It's going to come our way right away. So, you know what? It's definitely going to be centered on Fatty Fatso, as Desh is going to pull some druid shit. And hopefully it doesn't burn away. And so let's get a spike growth going.
Okay, 20-foot radius
20
spike growth.
So from starting there, it should be just shy of getting into Senna's space. So it'll get a 20-foot radius around Fatso, which I think should hit them all, roughly.
1 second here. I'm just gonna. Let's see here. Edit this. Spike growth. Nameplate controlled by Desh. And then let's give it a aura. You said 20 feet.
20-foot radius.
There you go.
Okay,
You should be able to
so-
control that.
And yeah, yeah. So I should be able to. Yeah, I'll say I'll put it there. Yeah, I'll get at least. They're just awkwardly spaced out enough. I can't get them all comfortably.
So we watch as what does it look like when Desh casts magic? Because he doesn't do it often.
Well, given that I'm very much a natural caster, I imagine that from my armor, I pull out some segmented twigs, kind of like, do like the whole key thing, like if you turn your keys into a weapon just between like the knuckles, and then just very quickly just punch and push the sticks into the ground, and then where I want them, all of these just roots, which I imagine are kind of singed, being we're in a ring of hell, kind of sprout up and just cover the ground.
Awesome. So we watch as they begin to spring up and cover the ground from underneath this bloated gargantuan, or not gargantuan, but large individual that takes up the other side of the room. And also the spike growth makes its way under the heavily clawed paws of the 4 dog-like spike-spitting creatures that surround him.
At the very least, they'll slow them a little bit down, as Desh is then going to quote-unquote combat roll to get some distance back and draw his rifle with his item action, as that's gonna be it for Desh.
All right, we move on to doggo number 1. So this one is the one of the 2 that's closest, actually the closest to getting into melee combat. But instead, you watch as it opens its jaw, and instead of electricity like forming in its jaw or anything like that, you watch as its jaw opens and its maw gives out this unnatural glow, and lava begins to pour forth, almost like drool from it. And it looks at you, Senna, because you are the closest to it. And it's going to go ahead and shoot its 2 spike growths. Don't worry, it only makes 1 roll. So, with a natural 1, you watch as it turns itself towards you, and you see the 2 large talon-like growths that spit out spikes begin to rattle and shake, and as you watch the spikes shoot out, they shoot far out past you over your shoulders, and you can actually see back on the creature something went terribly wrong as the bones within its spike throwers, there's a loud crunch from them, and you watch as blood begins to ooze out of the open, gaping pipe that they are before it snarls. And it's going to take 4 points of bashing damage as its bones snap, unfortunately. Or sorry, not 4, but 1 point.
I was gonna say, oh, it takes quadruple damage from internal bleeding. Great.
Yeah. That would be nice, but no. And it's just going to move into combat, or close distance with Cinna. And that's going to be the end of its turn.
As it takes a step, which is that considered still in the spike growth.
Yep, still in the spike growth. It's
Takes 3 points of piercing.
3 points of piercing. It doesn't get any sort of save with that, does it?
No, but just every 5 feet it moves, it takes 2d4 damage. And it's
So
difficult terrain.
It
so-
does end up taking 4 damage.
Yeah, we got there eventually.
Yeah. All right, and that brings us over to the other one. The other one that's at the head of the pack, essentially, watched as Desh cast this spell, and these spikes form underneath its feet. And it doesn't like casters too much, so it decides to shoot its spikes out over at Desh.
Disadvantage.
Let's see. Boop, boop. Luckily, yeah, at disadvantage, because otherwise it would have rolled a natural 20.
Well, either way, that's still going to hit me, but it's not a crit, so thank
yeah,
God.
not a crit. All right, 18 does hit. So I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
And roll
As you take
12.
10 points of piercing damage from the two spikes
Ow.
slamming into your chest.
But the spike growth is still there.
Not a constitution save, dexterity.
No, I made the dexterity save. It was a 12.
Oh, it was a 12. Okay, fantastic. With a 12, you watch as the two spikes burrow into you for a moment, and you can see these small trails of black ichor from the back of it, and you kind of move backward a step or two, and you watch as the black ichor simply hits the floor beneath and begins to sizzle away at the floor before growing inert.
Great. But yeah, my spike growth is still remaining after that. 10 points of damage.
Fantastic. That's what the Constitution save was for. Good on you. And then he's going to move up into combat. So go ahead and roll the damage twice as he moves 10 feet.
4 d4s. He takes 8 points of piercing damage.
And we watch as he runs over the thorny floor beneath him, and there's gashes within his paws that begin to form, and blood begins to seep underneath him in small puddles. Okay, that's going to bring us to third doggo. Over on the right side of this obese creature, we watch as this dog moves out of the circle, and go ahead and roll for the damage that he takes. As he
6.
takes 6 points of damage from his claws getting torn up by the ground. And he begins to book it, so 5, 10, 15, 20.
So he did probably have to do 10 feet to get out of there because it's difficult terrain. So-
Difficult terrain. Okay, so we'd stop here. As he makes his way out of the circle. Thanks for telling me it was difficult terrain.
That's what it's for.
and-
It's for minor damage and major CC.
Because he can't get to his intended target, Sasha, he goes ahead and shoots his spikes out towards you. With a 9, you watch as they just simply shoot off into the distance. No harm done. And that brings us over to Senna, as you have these two creatures that run up towards you after shooting their spikes, their teeth bared and lava slowly oozing and drooling out of their mouths.
Okay. I am going to cast Hypnotic Pattern.
30-foot cube. Okay, so I need to give
30.
you.
We need more overlapping colors.
Yeah. So we're gonna give you this, and we're going to edit that, and we're gonna say this is controlled by Cinna and Hypnotic Pattern, and then square, 30 foot, save. Let me change the color real quick.
That's fancy.
There you go. And you can move that around.
Okay. So
She's moving, but I have hope in it.
So you create a twisting pattern of colors that weave through the air inside a 30-foot cube within range. The pattern appears for a moment and vanishes. Each creature in the area who sees the pattern must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature becomes charmed for the duration. While charmed by this spell, the creature is incapacitated and has a speed of 0, and the spell ends for an affected creature if it takes any damage or if someone else uses an action to shake the creature out of its stupor. The spell save DC is 15? That's us? Yeah.
yes, and they also all have disadvantage on that roll because of my instrument of the bards.
Okay, good to know. Right.
Oh, the magic item swag.
Yeah. Give me 1 second here.
So is 30 feet like a diameter of 30 feet, or how's that?
I don't actually know which one it is. I just know to put in what I need to put in for it to make the square.
Assume that you and she can see it, because I just see a little green bottle.
Yeah, I only saw a little green bottle. The square disappeared.
Hold on.
See the square? It's really big,
It's
though.
really big. Let me see. There should be a way for me to.
I mean, if you got the information, that's great. I just want to make sure that I know if I have to avoid an area, what I got to avoid.
I don't even see the thorns.
You.
See the thorns either.
That's a good point. Let me fix these things real quick, so that way you guys can see them. Legacy lighting. All players see light. Did that fix it for the hypnotic?
Nope.
Everybody see the square now? No.
Nope.
I don't see a square.
Oh
yes, the true battle. Technical difficulties.
How about now?
Nope.
Nope.
Great. That's okay. That's irritating.
Well, let me ask.
Here we go. Player permission. C. Save settings. Can you see it
there
now?
we go.
All right, and then let me put
See?
the player permissions on the other one.
Big honking square.
That's a huge square.
And this one, C. Save. There you go.
All right.
All
So
right.
don't step in the circle. Or else you
Let
get
there be light.
Okay, and they need to make wisdom saving throws. So,
your disadvantage.
With disadvantage, we're going to start with the big guy. 9, not the natural 20 that I rolled. All right, so he's a fail. And he is incapacitated. And his speed is reduced to 0. Okay, fantastic. And then for the doggos, they are only a +2. 1, 2. That's one doggo.
1.
12, so he fails. Incapacitated. Next doggo. 1, 2. Nope, that's a fail.
Fail. Oh, the CC.
Next doggo. 1, 2. Ooh, boy, these natural 20s going to waste. That's another fail. And then 1, 2. Yeah, it's a 12. That's a no. Okay.
Whole squad now
All
open
right.
for pickings.
And then hypnotic pattern goes away. It's still active, but it no longer.
The colors go away, but they're
Right.
still incapacitated. Yeah.
All right. And
So I'm
would you
gonna
like
gang
to
up
move?
on one at a time.
Yeah, I am absolutely going to move. I'm gonna move Well, I guess that's probably a good place to move to. I don't want to get too close to the edge because I'm afraid of everything. I'm also gonna go ahead and give a bardic inspiration over to Sasha. And as I don't think anyone has seen me cast this spell before, I'm gonna say, everyone pick one target and focus on that.
Okay.
So we're not all hitting different incapacitated targets and waking them up.
Fantastic. So what we all see is there is a loud crack in the distance, and there's a flash of light, almost like a flare going off in pitch darkness. And it's various different colors as the flash happens before it instantly goes away, and you can see all the creatures in the room on the opposite side of the room from all of you begin to sway, and their eyes droop, and they all look like they're lulling into a bit of a sleep. They aren't fully getting there, and they're just standing there almost in a trance. And then Senna runs back and yells out to focus on one target. All right. That doggo does nothing. He does nothing. Sasha.
Okay, guys, should we focus on this one?
Just pick one and let's go. I think objectively that one is the most hurt from spike growth.
Okay, so you want to pick this one?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's probably been hurt the most.
Okay, then that's where I'll go. I'll move over here. Oops. It's a little bit more up there. There we go. And, well, hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Without touching the spike growth, I pull out my Blade of Lawful Judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And
item
with
action?
with my tail,
That'll take your bonus action to pull that dagger with your tail.
oh, okay. All right, crap. Okay, with my bonus action, I pull my rapier out.
Okay.
And I get ready to attack because that takes all my actions up, right?
No, you took up your item action to take out the longsword, and then your bonus action to take out the rapier, and then you move.
Okay.
That's all.
All
you've
right.
done.
So I am going to attack with my sword. Slice, slice. Okay.
All right. Within 11, you get advantage because they're incapacitated, so that goes up to 12, which does hit. So, okay. So what we see is Sasha hearing the order to only focus on one creature, turns her attention over to the one with the largest puddle of blood underneath its paws and runs over to it. And as she does, she takes her two hands and begins to draw her longsword while her tail whips out from around her and draws at her rapier at her belt. And she does a bit of a flourish with both before striking down two-handed down at the dog-like creature and slashing into its side, doing 6 points of damage because they are evil.
Okay.
You don't say.
All right. Since I no longer have my bonus action, I won't have two attacks.
Correct.
So what I'm going to do is I am going to move back out of the way, like here.
Sneak attack.
Yeah, I do have sneak attack.
All right.
Sorry.
Good thing you called for it. As someone reminded you. Go ahead and roll the sneak attack
Yeah.
damage.
Okay.
I wasn't going to remind you.
All right, okay. So for my sneak attack, oops, I clicked it and my whole sheet moved. Hold on, sorry.
an additional 11 points of damage. Explain to me its grisly demise.
I chop off his head
Okay.
in one fell swoop.
So instead of slashing it in the side as you come up, instead as you run up and do the flourish with both blades, you strike down at its head and chop it right off, being sure, without a roll, luckily from your DM, as this is the only time he will warn you, as you chop off the head, there's a spray of blood and lava that pours out in front of it and almost touches you. Luckily you dash out of the way as you take 5 feet, a 5-foot step back.
All right, one down.
Dash.
Once one's down and they're all incapacitated, Dash does his best to scamper over here, and he'll take a shot at that one.
Okay.
Nope, put Nash's sheet away. He's a lonesome boy on the ship.
Yeah. Back on the ship, what we see is Nash pokes his head in the cabin, and in Nash's own native tongue, Daddy? Daddy?
And
Hello?
I am not his daddy. I am his friend. God damn it.
It's more like buddy.
As aiming.
There.
Yeah. Point being, he is making sad Nash noises. I get back to him ASAP, so I'm gonna fucking put a cap in that one's ass.
Okay. All right. 14 does hit. 14 becomes the 18 because you were at advantage because it's incapacitated. 18 definitely hits. For 18 piercing damage, as there's the crack of the rifle that pierces out into the air. And this is the new magical one, right?
This is the new magic gun.
Very nice.
Doomslayer intensifies.
Doomslayer intensifies indeed. Now, if only you had a double-barrel shotgun. But
I'll work
either way, you watch as there is sort of a purplish glow that comes from inside the gun as the trigger is pulled. And there is a spray of sparkling magic that comes out of the receiver as the bullet goes forward and the shell hits the ground. And as it slams into the creature, you watch as half of its skull gets completely mushed and scattered out behind it as it lulls to one side and slowly begins to almost fade, but manages to stay up on its feet, and now with one eye and half a face stares in your direction. Lava just unceremoniously pouring, almost like a small waterfall at this point, from that open side of its face.
Right, it's probably surviving with 1 HP or some shit.
Yeah. And is that going to be the end of your turn?
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't cast Hunter's Mark, which probably would have done the trick, because I got to keep Spike Growth up just in case, I guess.
Mark, unfortunately, is concentration, and so is Spike Growth. Oh.
If only I had 2 brains. If only Nash could concentrate on something for me.
If there's a will, there's a way. All right, so the next one can't do anything because it's incapacitated. This lasts for a minute, correct?
Yeah.
We got 10 rounds to kill him.
9 now. That one is dead, so I can remove him from the turn order. That one is incapacitated. No longer, as he was just recently shot in the face, and he is pissed. So let me check a distance here. Yeah, so you watch as he's actually going to charge you. And you watch as its large black taloned claws dig deep into the ground below it, cracking the stone floor beneath you before it begins to just absolutely launch itself directly at you. And let's see here. 1, 2.
Sir Cloak is back in effect, because my turn hit.
You were so lucky. You were so lucky.
He Yes, I dodged.
14.
It's a good
does
thing
not
I bought
hit.
that cloak.
You can
I
see
dodged 2 crits now.
as it leaps over towards you, there's a spray of lava and blood that comes in your direction, and you think that might be what hits you, so you try and dodge out of the way as best you can, and you take 3 steps to the left as it sprays the ground near you, and you can hear the broken, chittering teeth of its jaw, half of its jaw, clamping down right where your throat used to be. As it pulls back and it kind of just lulls in place, still heavily wounded, blood and lava still gushing out the other side of its face. All right, and that's gonna bring us over to Senna.
I'm gonna throw a sacred flame at the one that just attacked Dash.
$18. There's a spark of flame that flies over towards the creature, and in its woozy state, you watch as it ducks down just enough with one of its woozy limps, and the flame goes right over it, and then poofs out in the distance.
That's kind of all I've got.
Okay. So you don't want to move or anything like that?
I mean, there's no. I'm good where I'm standing. I'm happy
All
here.
right. And that brings us over to the other one, incapacitated. The big guy, incapacitated. Sasha.
Okay, I am going to move over here. I have to be about that close, right?
Or
For me to hit him.
it does
I
not.
don't have to.
You don't have a reach weapon, so you have to be here to hit him.
Okay. All right, so I'll be right here to hit him.
All right. You go ahead and
And-
move up in the range on the side that it can't see out of.
And I'll do my lawful
You
judgment
moved up.
with sneak
If you moved
attack.
diagonal, you could get flanking.
She'll learn.
I'm not diagonal?
No.
Was this diagonal? No, that's
You have-
fair.
We
Well,
have to
here.
be flanking a creature.
Oh,
one on
there.
either side.
Oh, okay. I have to be there. I thought
She,
that.
she
I
won't
thought I had
learn
to
unless
be
someone teaches her.
here.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. All right. So not knowing that, now I know I have to be here.
So instead, you
And
run
that's-
over behind the creature. Initially, you run over to the side of the creature to where its slawed-off face is, and Desh gives you a look like, "No, go that way!" And you quickly twirl around to its backside.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with my double blade there.
With a 24, that will definitely hit. Explain to me its grisly demise.
I just literally jab into it and then quickly jump back. Do I need to go ahead and hit my sneak attack for the extra damage?
No need. No need.
Okay.
As, yeah,
I'm
it
trying to
jumped
get away
from
from the lava.
24 damage to 42 damage. It did. All right. Okay, would you like to do any more movement? Because you moved 5, 10, 15. You've moved 20 feet at this point.
Good to take another step over here and stab that one with sneak attack with your tail rapier.
Right. That's a good idea. So, step here. And
So advantage
do
if that one's incapacitated.
my sneak attack.
First, roll to hit with your rapier.
Okay.
With a 21, you do manage to hit it with your rapier, doing 2 piercing damage. As
And
you
then I have
lightly
to do my
jab
sneak
into his
attack.
shoulder. And go ahead and, roll your sneak attack. With another 8 on top of that. All right. So you... Okay.
Now I'm going to move back.
As you pull the rapier out of its shoulder, you make sure to give it a little bit of a wiggle and a tear, and that opens the wound up a little bit more. All right, and you wouldn't have the movement to move back, unfortunately. So you'd be stuck.
Oh, I
here.
wouldn't? Okay. I'll stop here. Okay.
All right, that brings us over to Desh.
Moving over for a clear shot, as I'm gonna take a pop a shot at the one that Sasha just woke up. Click, click, boom.
And just like the song from Saliva, you managed to hit it. All right, so 19 damage. We watch once again as Desh goes ahead and takes aim with his brand new rifle. The metallic sheen glistening in the low light of the lava, and there once again is a purple spark. You watch as the round comes flying out of the receiver to hit the ground, and just out of focus you watch as the round slams into the face of the creature and crumples it from face to tea kettle, as the round just goes straight through. And there's a spray of blood and lava that sprays behind it 10 feet. That one is dead.
All right, one more doggo, and then we focus fire the fat boy. Which at this point, I'm going to say Odysseus' rest of his turn. I'm going to drop concentration on spike growth because it's not helping. Senna was a much better CC'er than I was. Instead, Dash is going to use one of his favorite foes to put a hunter's mark on the remaining doggo for the moment.
Okay, hunter's
In
mark
case
one
it somehow,
doggo.
in case it somehow does not die before my next turn.
Fantastic. So that brings us to Senna.
Okay, I'm going to attack the remaining doggo. I'm gonna throw a guiding bolt at it.
Guiding bolt 18 is gonna hit, so that gives everybody advantage on hitting it. And I'm gonna mark it with a little green dot so everyone knows that you have advantage. And what is the damage for guiding bolt?
Yeah, I clicked on it and the little thing disappeared. Oh no. I guess if I click again, it'll be fine. It'll be, right? There we go. Okay.
Haha. Okay. And you cast at a higher level?
Yes. Level 3.
So 20 points of damage. All right. So we watch as Cinna concentrates on the last one, reaching out her hand and grasping onto her holy symbol. And there is a quick shining bolt of energy that shoots out from her and slams into the dog, ripping into its back and its spine, shearing almost completely off its two spike-like growths, and giving a nice bit of damage as it snaps out of its incapacitated state and is woozily moving back and forth, staring in your general direction with vicious anger.
I'm gonna go ahead and move over here near Dash, and I will go ahead and inspire Dash with my words, give him a bardic inspiration, and that's it for me.
All right, both Dash and Sasha have bardic inspirations, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's give you guys... we'll give you guys this symbol to notify that you have bardic inspirations. All right, now over to the injured doggo. And he is going to, let's see...
Do you think you're measuring the best distance for a suicide bomber?
Alright, so he goes ahead and he moves on down here with all of his might, limping along the way as he goes. And Cinna, I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw as it opens its maw and it spews forth a cone of lava. With a 10, that is not enough, unfortunately, as you take 5 points of burning damage.
He just roasted you, man.
And you are now on fire.
Fun. Okay.
Let's see. There we go. On fire. All
I
right.
think you'll need a con save.
That's right, I do
Yeah, you
need
do
to
need to
make
make
a
a
con
con
save.
save.
Alright, the other guy's still dazed.
Yep, totally fine. All right, moving on. Big guy, it's still incapacitated. Sasha.
Stab the shit out of it.
All right. I am going to run up to it,
Mm-hmm.
and I am going to go ahead and stab with my big blade. The big boy. Here comes the big boy.
You have advantage because of the guiding. Okay, 25 is gonna hit for 8 doubled. Okay, Jesus.
And then
All
let me
right.
go ahead and do
nope,
my.
don't even have to.
yeah.
Explain to me its grisly demise.
Okay. I literally shoved my sword right up its butt. And then
Okay.
I jumped back.
You go ahead and you do that before jumping back a few feet. All right.
Shove him right up the butt.
And you are now left with a disgusting ichor that covers your blade, along with blood.
I shake it to wipe it off.
That doesn't work in real life, but you try.
Okay.
That's why they do the flick to start, and they do the whole rub on the sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
But you do
well,
manage to
I
get a
don't-
little bit of it off. But yeah, that move does not actually work.
Okay. Didn't know that. All right. All right. I have some cloth that I will use to wipe it off.
Okay, so he watches you flick the blade, and it does that half crescent moon spray of ichor and blood around you, but there's still some on the blade, and you quickly take out a handkerchief and slide it down the length of the blade, cleaning it off.
Yeah.
All right.
And I just go, ew.
Yeah, it does not smell pleasant. Desh.
Well, much to my prediction, that doggo died, so Hunter's Mark is being moved to Fat Man.
Okay, I believe that takes your bonus action.
Yep, to move it. And because he's dazed, Dash is going to move over here to get a good angle. And he's going to hold his action to shoot the fat guy as soon as someone else attacks him. See if we can't get into a good position, just dogpile this guy.
All right, fantastic. So he watches as Desh quickly runs over, and the camera kind of focuses on his kobold feet as they slam against the flooring beneath him, and he quickly makes his way over. He skids to a stop where he is, gets down on one knee, and takes aim. And then we're going to go over to Senna.
Okay.
I've got a roll, even though the ground's probably on fire too.
Senna, you immediately take 10 points
Ooh.
of burning damage, and you are still on fire.
Okay. I think I'm gonna. Oh shoot! I need a Constitution save.
Yep.
He wakes up. Unless you have Warcaster.
Do you have Warcaster?
I don't have Warcaster now.
He wakes up.
Incapacitation loses effect, and you watch as the big fat blob in the room goes.
Stop, drop, and roll, baby. Stop, drop, and
Yeah,
roll.
I'm gonna do that. Is that my movement or my action?
It takes an action to put this out.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to burn up to death. I won't be helpful to anybody if I do that, so I'm gonna use my action to put out the fire.
You use your action to
I
put
am.
out the fire. You are no longer on fire as we watch you stop, drop, roll, and begin to brush away at the flames licking up your clothing and armor. Some of your cloak having singed away and floated away as small pieces of ashes and embers.
I think that's all I'm gonna do. This turn.
Fantastic. That is gonna bring us to doggos are all dead. The big guy. All right. So I need to measure some things out. Okay. So we watch as the big guy, now fully awake, takes a measure of everything that's happened while he's been incapacitated, gives out a giant roar before slamming his bony club against the ground, sending these massive ripples through his obese body and launching himself 5, 10, 15, 20 feet to slam into the ground next to Sasha. And Sasha, I need you to make me
I
a
refuse to
dexterity
believe those legs
throw.
that weight.
He's not actually standing. His stubby little legs are like flopping out in front of him. He's just like he's using the massive bone club to launch himself, and then he's just slamming on his own butt.
Ground pounding.
Yeah. And with an 8, you fail, so you take full damage here. As the ground quakes below you, and so you take 7 points of bashing damage as bits and pieces of debris go flying out almost like shrapnel. You lose a bit of your footing and are knocked prone. Yeah, that's going to be his turn. So you are now prone.
Stand up and stab him. My held action doesn't go off until someone hits him.
That is right. That's why wording is very important. We're going to give you that symbol for prone. All right.
Thought
Sasha.
she was on fire.
Going to stand up,
Okay, you go ahead and stand up and take half your movement standing.
and then I am going to slash the fuck out of him with a mighty roar. Okay, so slash.
Okay, 21 is definitely going to hit, so it's going to do 4 points of slashing damage to him.
Okay,
And as you slash into him, you slash into the blubbery fat that is 99.9% of his body, and there's just a spray of yellowy cellophane liquid that covers you completely.
do I get my sneak attack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your bonus action attack, should you wish. That is 15 points of damage.
Okay, and then I hit him again.
You can't hit him with
Crit.
the blade of lawful justice judgment.
Oh, I
You can only
can't
hit him with the
with
rapier.
same
So
blade.
that crit means
Okay,
nothing.
I'm
You wasted the crit.
Sorry, guys. Wasted the crit. Hit him with the wrong weapon. I have to hit him with the rapier.
Rapier 11 as you
Inspiration.
go.
Inspiration.
Yeah, that's
Inspiration.
true. You do have
Use
inspiration.
my inspiration.
All right, and I believe
Uh,
that's a D8.
Yes.
Okay, let me take it off my sheet. Hold on. Take my
Currently, you're
inspiration
sitting at an
there.
11.
1. Oh, sorry. Slash R 1D8. Okay. 15.
15. As you pierce into him, you can feel a bit of resistance as the blubbery fat creates an armor of sorts and makes it so that the blade like goes into his skin, and you can see it begins to push through. But for a moment, it seems as though it won't give way until finally there's a sudden pop, and your blade goes sliding in like butter, and it's completely covered in ichor as you draw it out, and there's like a stream of fat that begins to pour out of the small hole you made.
Okay, and now I am going to jump back here.
She stabs him. My held action finally goes off.
Yes, your held action goes off as there's a crack from the other side of the room of the rifle going off. 18 is gonna hit for 18 points of damage. All right.
Remember, he
Hunter's
should
Mark.
be getting double bleed.
This creature does not undergo the effects of bleed.
Okay.
And then my Hunter's Mark
Yep,
pops
Hunter's Mark.
for an additional 8.
Additional 8. Wow. Good rolls. All right. So he watches in slow motion the bullet slams into his gelatin-like body on the other side, and there's a rippling butt cheek that you see for a few moments before the screen is immediately covered in spewing fat. Before it pulls out.
Why you gotta put the poor carry man through this, man? What did he ever do to this? You better pay him well.
All right. So that brings us over to Desh.
Right, well, let's just... And fire again. Kablam.
Hey,
14.
14. So he
And I
watches
got my
the
Use your inspiration.
Before you don't
think it's
know.
my
You
head.
want to use your inspiration?
I think 14 will hit.
Okay. You do not use your inspiration. As you fire the rifle, you watch as the bullet goes and tries to slam almost into the same hole that you made previously, but instead aims a little bit higher, and you watch as the blubbery fat begins to ripple until eventually the bullet slows and it clatters to the floor, harmless.
Really? AC 15?
Yep.
God fucking damn it. Some fucking hard blubber.
He's got a lot of it. He's a big man.
Alright, well, I guess that's Desh's turn. No AC 15. Knowing's half the battle, the other half is killing the people.
Would
So,
you like to
Desh
move? Yeah. All right.
I'm gonna keep my distance from this fatso and reload my gun.
Fantastic. Senna.
Okay, I need to see if what I was gonna do I can still do now that Dash moved. There. I moved there. Yes, okay. I'm gonna move there and I'm gonna cast Bless on all of us.
Okay. Is that enough of a range to get?
30
Yeah,
feet
that is,
to
that
both
is.
of them. Yeah.
Fantastic. So everybody gets bless. Why don't you read off bless while I give everybody their symbols?
You bless up to 3 creatures of your choice within range. Whenever a target makes an attack roll or saving throw before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the attack roll or saving throw.
Fantastic. All right.
Persistent mini inspiration.
Yeah. And is that going to be the end of your turn?
Yeah.
Fantastic. You watch as this huge man rolls around a little bit from his several injuries. He looks like it's very painful. And eventually he looks over to Sasha and he says, "Need no light stabby." And there's a spray of bile and acid and chunks of food that are rotted to all hell that goes out in your direction. And I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
think he needs
Okay.
Altar's
Can I uncanny dodge? Okay.
I think you have evasion.
Evasion will, yeah. Let me see here. Let me check your sheet. Character sheet. You have uncanny dodge, and is that it?
I have uncanny dodge,
Evasion at level
rakish
7?
and audacity, fancy footwork, cunning action, thieves' cant, expertise,
I might think evasion's level 7.
failing nimbleness, prehensile tail, and shape changer.
Okay. All right. Well, uncanny
Yeah,
dodge is
done.
all you get in that case.
I
'Cause
mean,
that's
you still
all you
have it.
written down. Unless
No,
it
that's
says,
all I have.
I will
Level.
double check. I will double check. Calm down. Everybody, calm down. Yeah, role playing games. It's been a while since I've had to crack open the book. I mean, handbook. The 10th print edition. Okay. Rogues.
Level 6.
Give me 1 second here. Rogue. When do you get evasion? Evasion is 7, so you should have evasion.
I'm 6.
Oh, you're
Level
level
6.
6. Oh, okay. Then never mind. My bad.
Yeah, we're all level 6.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
All right.
So I uncanny dodge.
All right, uncanny dodge. So you have this, luckily. Let's see here. So you end up taking. Make me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Constitution saving throw.
Take 13 points of acid damage. And you are not poisoned. All right.
Okay, so 13 points.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt.
And I need to put a token on the map. That'll do. And I need to edit this.
I just an acid pool.
There we go. All right.
I didn't dodge out of the way out of all that.
With a dexterity save of 6, no. You took half damage from uncanny dodge. You passed your Constitution save,
You're still staying in a big old puddle of
and now you're standing in
nasty.
a puddle of nasty. So the 13 goes down to 6 when you're taking half.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I took 13.
No,
Okay.
you should take 6 because you take half.
Mm.
All right. And that brings us over to Sasha, covered in bile and acid, and feeling your clothes and your hair and some of your skin get this really raw, itchy feeling, and you feel like there's a smoking smell, and you could swear that some of your hair is burning a little bit.
Oh,
And last year's
Okay.
lunch is covering you. You almost hurl from the sensation, but luckily you managed to keep it down.
all right. All right. You bastard. All right. I'm going to charge out of here.
Okay.
And I'm going to.
Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
With the 7, you get 5 feet, and you
Oh.
slip and you go prone, and you take 1d5 points
Oh.
of damage.
Fuck.
Being
You
the
take
blessed wouldn't
5
help her
points of
with the 7.
not with the 7.
Fuck.
5 points of acid damage as you slip into acid. And it's just as there's slime and gunk that you slide into. Oh,
All right.
Yep, we're good. All right, that brings us to Dash. And before you roll Dash, I need to make a roll for him. So /R 1d6. Okay, so he gets his elite back, and then one more 1d6. He does not get his puke back. All right,
fucking elite. Oh, it's leap.
his leap. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say his elite. What a fucking rank is he? Okay.
All right, Dash.
And gun go bang. Gun go hit.
As the bullet ripples into him and manages to pierce flesh this time for 23 damage. Holy crap.
Make that an even 30 with Hunter's Mark.
Even 30 with Hunter's Mark. All right. You guys have managed to do quite a bit of damage here as he is now bloodied.
And, oh, good. He's just now blood. Good. And Dash is just going to keep mobile.
All right, and that's going to bring us to Senna.
Okay. I am going to move here, and I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers on him. Let me put the text in there.
Could you read that out for chat?
Yeah, okay. You whisper a discordant melody that only one creature of your choice within range can hear, racking it with terrible pain. The target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 3d6 psychic damage and must immediately use its reaction if available to move as far as its speed allows away from you, but it made its saving throw, so it doesn't matter.
Made its saving throw. All right. Would you like to move?
Did move a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to move a little bit more. I'm going to move to here. And that's it for me for this turn.
Okay. Get back to the creature. It gives out a laugh as it watches Sasha go sliding into the Ichor before it turns its head after being shot by Desh and tracks Desh, and it gives out a before slamming its club into the ground and sending itself launching. 5, 10, 15, 20. And it slams down, and I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw as you take 9 halved because you're at 10 feet instead of 5 feet. So you end up taking 4 points of bludgeoning damage, and you manage to stay on your feet as the ground beneath you rumbles.
Boy.
Sasha, you are prone, you are covered in ichor. It is not a pleasant experience. And there's stuff all in your hair.
I get up.
Use half your action to get up. Or not half your action, but half your movement to get up.
Out of the... Got it.
Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Roll over a 15. You go 5 feet and slam back into acid.
This is not your day. And you're fuzzy. That means it's all caked in your fur.
Yep.
It's,
Yep. And you take another 5 points of acid damage.
You know, I forgot. I don't know if your bless would have helped you there at all.
No, not with a 9.
No.
You had to hit a 15 or higher, even with bless. No.
No.
All right. That brings us over to Desh.
Well, he's coming after me. I don't much like that. Let's get out of my fucking space and ka-chow.
All right. Question. It doesn't matter in this particular case because either way you hit.
Okay.
If you're in range of somebody melee-wise, do you get disadvantage for using ranged?
I think it's if he has a reach, it doesn't affect me because I think it'd be like in my face because I can still freely move my gun around.
So he
He's
has
not,
to be
like,
within
in my
5
face.
feet. Gotcha.
I think.
All right. So he goes ahead and he takes 27 damage plus
Plus
another
8.
8 from Hunter's Mark.
35.
All right.
Just progressively climbing that damage chart higher and higher.
He watches more and more just pieces of flab and flesh get absolutely shredded off by bullets. All right. And is that all you would like to do?
Do I have anything? I just want to see something. Okay, so I have that in my back pocket. You know what? Let's do a little Benny Hilling. and just run around him. He's fast. It's gonna be a fucking effort to turn that tub of lard. His turn radius cannot be that high.
Luckily, you don't leave his radius of melee, so he doesn't get an attack of opportunity off of you, off on you. All right, and that brings us over to Cinna.
Sasha, do you need a heal?
It's okay. Don't worry about me. I've got healing potions. Don't worry. Just get him.
Okay. I will then cast Shatter
Ooh.
on him.
Constitution saving throw. Well, he does have a high Constitution.
Give
He
me half
takes
damage at least.
half damage on a fail. I mean, on a success.
That's 7 more damage.
All right,
7 more damage.
more damage. Okay. So you cast Shatter and you watch as the ground rumbles beneath him a bit, and you can see from the various wounds that he's taken, more and more. I believe fat is technically called cellophane, so cellophane begins to pour out of him.
Just having a field day with these descriptions, ain't you, Aaron?
Yeah. All right, and that's gonna bring us to the big guy, and he's gonna swing, bada swing. Listen, 1d20 plus 8.
Disadvantage because of cloak.
Disadvantage because of cloak. With a natural 1! You watch as he rears back and he goes to take a swing at you one-handed, Desh, and as you duck down and actually have to go fully prone for just a second before pushing yourself up, he puts too much force and too little of a grip on his club, and it goes slinging off into the distance.
A club, he can't fucking leap, in theory.
In theory. All right, and that's going to. Yep, that's going to end his turn. Sasha.
Right. Third time's the charm. I come out of the muck.
Half your movement to get up, and you come out of the muck. Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
17! You manage to slip and slide your way out of the muck, and as you slide out, you stop just next to Desh. A trail of green ichor and muck behind you, and last year's lunch, and it still cakes heavily in your fur and hair.
Because of
Joy.
the fact that my lawful blade of judgment is a part of my belt that returns everything,
Yes, you can throw it.
I am going to throw my lawful blade of judgment at
All right.
this jerk.
This is something you were untrained in, so do not add your proficiency bonus when you make this attack.
Okay, so how do I not add my proficiency bonus?
Just reduce 3.
Yeah, just reduce 3.
All right, so I just need to take 3 off of it.
No, just roll and then we'll minus 3 from it.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Well,
You
what's
can
left?
add a d4 with
Would you like
bless.
to add a d4?
I would like to add a D4 with bless.
Roll me a 3 or a 4.
R. 1 D4. Uh-oh. /R. 1 D4. 4.
Hey, with a 4, you wheel back with the longsword and huck it out, almost like an axe. And you watch as it spins in the air and it goes right into one of his previous wounds and slams deep into him. And it does quite a bit of damage.
Hold on.
actually.
What was I?
Go ahead and roll your
click
sneak
my
attack.
other sneak attack. Yes. With an extra 7.
Right. Fantastic. You guys have done quite a bit of damage to him. He's almost down.
Like, fingers crossed I do another good chunk of damage.
Okay.
All right. So as that returns, the next thing I'm going to throw is my rapier.
Can't throw the rapier, unfortunately.
Why? It's part of my belt.
Takes an action to throw it.
Oh, it
Yeah.
takes an action to throw.
If this was a dagger, you could
Okay.
totally do it. But unfortunately, this is a much longer and unwieldy weapon compared to a dagger. You can't
I
also
didn't
throw
pull
that.
my daggers.
Yeah.
My daggers are still in my belt.
Yeah.
I can't.
All right. That
Alright.
brings us over. Unless you want to do anything else with your bonus action.
Okay. Geez.
You could heal yourself with a potion.
With my bonus action, I'm going to drink a potion.
Okay. So you wipe away at the slime and grime around your mouth, pull out a potion, uncorking it with your thumb quickly as you pull it out of the pouch. Luckily, it's not also covered in slime and grime because it was in a pouch. And you slam it down your gullet. And go ahead and roll me that beautiful healing.
Okay. Let me look on the information on it. Oh, there's no information. Oh, I just have 4 potion healing.
They're the
health
basic
potions.
ones.
Yeah, it's the basic one. So what do I
Basic
roll?
one is, what, 44 plus 2?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. So /R 4d4 plus 2.
Not 4E, 4D.
Oops, sorry.
Just press up and then change the E to a D.
Okay,
There we go.
9.
9. You heal 9 points of damage.
Okay.
All right, and that brings us over to Dash. Can he do it, ladies and gentlemen? As this creature is on its last legs.
Well, let's hope. As click, boom. With that inspiration, that's at least a 15.
Go ahead and roll. There
21.
we go. That is enough. Let's see, for 15 piercing damage.
There's another
And then
7 from the Hunter's Mark.
There we go. All right, explain to me its grisly demise.
I've been riddling this thing with bullets. I imagine, because there's a fucking magic sword sticking out of it, I'm gonna pull some fucking Devil May Cry shit and say I'm gonna shoot the hilt of the sword, just shove that sword deep inside of it.
Devil May Cry 3, ladies and gentlemen. The best Devil May Cry. All right. So he watches you fire a bullet into the sword that's lodged inside of it. And the bullet slams into the pommel of the sword, and they both go flying out the other side, clattering to the ground over here. And there's a pool of fat and blood that just goes spraying out the other side as it slowly begins to lull until it eventually just... Hey, combat done.
I'm going
How
to
the
take a
fuck do we
water
get outta
skin
here?
and wash myself down.
Before any of you are able to do anything, there is a loud as you are all teleported back to the ship.
Oh, thank God.
Does that mean there's a holy sword left in hell?
No, because it immediately returns to her belt.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the spell returns it immediately.
Well, if you're lucky for that, otherwise you would have left a pretty good fucking sword in Demon Land.
That's the only reason I threw it in the first place. Because it was part of, it was attuned with my
Your belt.
belt.
But you guys actually, you have more. Because you have 2 more.
2
'Cause
more what?
I believe you guys picked up 3 Blades of Lawful Judgment. I believe Cinna and Sasha and Garen all picked one up and put them in the bag of holding. And then you took one out.
we
and
do
kept it.
have others. Yeah.
So you have 2
we do.
more.
I only took out, 1. There are
for
2
now-
more in my...
Let's agree, not open scary scrolls no more.
Is the
Yeah.
scroll in my hand still?
No. There's
It's
just
gone?
a pile of ash in your cupped hands.
Okay. All right. We won't be doing
We'd
that.
like to get out of here before more scary demon things happen.
Well, we have to go downstairs and we have to write down all the rest of those runes to that portal down there. And it sounds like that portal is open and working because we heard the whoosh whoosh.
And those are the last words we leave off on as the camera slowly pulls out of the captain's chambers and fades to black. And we'll see you guys next time on the Black Waves.
Yeah,
Thank you all so much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. I've been your DM, GM, storyteller, whichever you would like to call me, Forgotten Dreams, and I am joined by a cast of lovely people. Cyber Mama, who you can find all the time in the chats. We have Ellen, who is doing a number of different games, but that aren't streaming, so we'll see her around the channel, from time to time. And also Wadey Poo, who's always here when it's time for Black Waves and any other games that I managed to drag him into.
Kicking and screaming.
Kicking and screaming all the way. But thanks so much for coming out. Greatly appreciate you. Adios.
Bye.